Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us for the online postgraduate webinar that we have for our new MA, our MA Languages and Cultures Across Borders. I am Kate, I'm a marketing manager here at the School of Advanced Study, and I'm joined today by Program Director for the new MA, Dr. Katia Pizzi. I'd just like to remind everyone that the application deadline for this is the 31st of July for the September intake, and I hope the webinar today answers all your questions about studying a master's with us, and that you're well on your way to submitting your application. A quick overview of today. So the first part of the webinar, Katia will be talking through her presentation about studying the programs and how you'll benefit from studying with us. Following the presentation, there'll be a live Q&A, so you'll be able to ask any questions that you might have for us. We can't see you or hear you, so please ask your questions in the chat box. The chat box is in the top right-hand corner, so you'll see it along the teal strip at the top. It looks like the sort of Facebook Messenger icon. Please ask questions there as and when you have them. So now I'm going to hand over to Katia. Could you please give us a brief introduction about yourself, and then we'll start the presentation.
Hello, thank you very much, Kate. And I'm so delighted to be here to meet you all and introduce you to this really transformative, genuinely unique new program. Well, I'm Katia Pizzi. I'm senior lecturer in Italian studies here at the School of Advanced Study. I have extensive experience of teaching and research. Of course, I've published 8 books in my field, Italian studies. But one of the exciting things about working at SAS is, and particularly in the Institute of Modern Languages here and Cultures, is the availability of colleagues and specialisms from across the board and from the entire field of languages and cultures studies, which is really what this MA is predicated upon. So I would really like to introduce you to give you a sort of overview of this program and why it's so groundbreaking, as it's described in the first slide, because it's groundbreaking in terms of its content, its format, and the fact that it's a collaboration. Now, the content, obviously, we're all familiar with MAs in languages, in traditional setups and in traditional formats. This MA, what it does is something completely non-traditional. It approaches languages in a way that it sort of fits the development of the field of languages and cultures towards more transnational and transcultural and translanguaging ways. So it's the idea that languages really are instruments of communication and building bridges across people, communities, and cultures. The content is also groundbreaking because one of the things that the MA does very effectively, and we're going to see this when I'm going to say a little bit more about the modules, the individual modules, is that the MA addresses or engages with some very urgent and important societal and cultural problems right now in the world of today, in the global world of today. So we have modules and content that concerns people's migrations and displacement, cultural memory and heritage and oral history projects. There's content that concerns particularly the environment and environmental justice and the natural or non-natural causes of environmental change. So it's a transformative way to look at languages and how they can have a societal impact and work across different cultures. Now, the MA is also unique in terms of its format. It's a new format where we welcome. Well, the structure of the MA is fairly typical because it's got 3. It's composed of 3 compulsory modules and 3 optional modules. But where it's innovative, it's mostly in the assessment, as we'll see before, because you'll be able to study towards a dissertation, which is the more traditional academic path, and that will be very useful to you, particularly if you want to proceed to further academic study and maybe do a PhD. But you will also be able to try your hand at more creative forms of engagement with your material. It could be a zine. It could be a piece, an advisory piece for an NGO. It could be a digital exhibition or a physical exhibition in the wonderful new spaces we have here at the Warburg Institute around the corner from us. So really, the format is also very new and very exciting. And last but not least, one of the truly unique and really great selling points of this MA is it's a form of collaboration that has never been tried before across languages departments in the main colleges of the University of London. And we know University of London is the world-class university. It's true, we say it for a reason. And its colleges or its languages department are now working together in partnership to deliver this new program. So you see the logos on the left-hand side of the screen. There's us, the Institute of Languages, Cultures and Societies, but there's also ULIP, the Institute of Languages in Paris, Royal Holloway, King's College, Queen Mary, UCL. So really all the mighty colleges of the world-class University of London are coming together to deliver this new program. So the second important point to say is the multiple languages available. You have really a broad range and a broad spectrum of languages available for you to study from beginner to advanced. So we have beginners courses, intermediate and advanced courses. And this facility is provided by King's College London and the language operation, the language center at King's College London. And they really specialize in, of course, all the sort of main European languages, but also looking beyond at more global, so-called global languages. So African languages and languages of the Indian subcontinent. So it's really a fantastic resource. And your language course is one of the compulsory modules on the MA. However, you don't need to, it's not graded, you don't need to pass an exam. The only sort of compulsory element of it is attendance and progression in the course. The diverse modules and assessment and the funding that is available is something we'll see in a short while in the next few slides. Obviously, they're all important elements. So if we could move on to the next slide, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this diverse assessment, because as I mentioned earlier, you can, of course, study towards a dissertation, and that's absolutely fine. And it's very well suited if you want to have proceed to an academic career, but you might be thinking of other career options. And so your assessment is diverse because you may be assessed depending on your interest and your options, your choices. You could write a policy report for an NGO, for charities or for government. You could make a podcast. And there are state-of-the-art facilities here at the School of Advanced Study. And there's also training in podcast making. We mentioned the zine. There's even research training on how to make a zine. Creative writing, you could write a piece of sort of life writing. You could write a translation, or you could curate an exhibition. It could be a physical or a digital exhibition, as we mentioned. Very excitingly, again, there's site-specific work with cultural partners in London. We are so lucky that we are sitting at the hub of London's academic, quarter mile. This is really the heart of London's academic resources. There are libraries, there are museums. We're just sitting behind the British Museum, or rather they're sitting behind us. We have the British Library nearby. We have our own library here sitting on the top 3 floors of Senate House. So really we are a hub, an academic hub, buzzing with resources. And these resources, some of them are listed here, the London Migration Museum and British Museum, who are directly involved in this MA. But there's also digital collections across London that you can access if you sort of become part of this MA. The MA is co-taught across the university, and there's world-class research-led teaching from UCL, Queen Mary, Royal Holloway, ULIP, and ILCS, which is us. It has to be said that the program is taught in person mostly, so it will be taught here at Senate House in central London, in Russell Square. But there will be courses or occasions or supervisions, dissertation supervision that you might, whereby you might visit other colleges. And one of the beauties of having partners sitting in all the languages departments across the University of London University is that you really can draw on expertise of top-class expertise from really across all the London colleges. And again, this is a new feature and nobody else is doing this. So we're very, very proud of this. And of course, as I mentioned, language teaching at King's Language Centre, KCL, which is the top language provision centre in London right now. So you'll have access to that as well. In a short while, we're going to talk a little bit about careers, but your career paths are quite diverse as well. You can, of course, go on and do a PhD, do further academic studies, but you could explore careers in other domains and in other fields. You could work in museums or the heritage sector. You could work in art galleries, libraries, archives, NGOs, charities, policy, journalism, professional research. And of course, we have a top-class career service here at University of London, and you'll be supported by them all through your program. Or you can go on to do further academic research. Thank you. Kate, that's the next slide, is the all-important topic, obviously, is about funding. And there is quite a good provision of funding. At least this is the new, it's the first year this MA will be running. So there's quite a broad spectrum of support, both for fees and there are also full fees and maintenance grants that you can apply for. Obviously, all of these are awarded on merit. So obviously, you'll be competing with other students, but if you are good and if you are determined, you stand a very good chance of getting funding to study this MA. For this year only, we have 3 ring-fenced bursaries for this new MA of £10,000 each to cover the tuition fee at the home rate. There are also 2 School of Advanced Study Master's studentships of £18,000 each. So these cover both tuition fees and maintenance. There's also 1+1 coffin fund for promising students of £12,000 each. All of them awarded on academic merit. And it has to be said, you can apply for all of them at the same time. They have slightly different deadlines, and we're going to come to this next, but you can apply for all of them at the same time. So you don't have to wait for one of them to give you a result. You can apply for the 3 in one go. And of course, there's a link here at the bottom to the UK government postgraduate master's loan scheme if you want to learn more about funding and how to obtain funding. I'm going to move on. Maybe can we move on to the key dates? Because while we're talking about funding, then yes, I can give you some key dates about the applications for funding while before we look at the modules a little bit. The applications for this program close on the 31st of July this year. But for applications for ring-fenced bursaries close at the end of April. So it's quite a tight deadline, but we do try to get decisions made within a fortnight of students applying. So we're quite fast in processing applications. The SAS bursaries, it says they're 20th of March, but as of yesterday, we couldn't change the slide because it happened only yesterday. The deadline is now 31st of March, so there is a little bit more time. But so if you are thinking about it, this is the time to apply and to put together your application for funding. The program starts in September. So that's why by the end of July, we need to know how many of you will be there. If we can go back a little bit on the modules. Thank you, Kate. The MA is structured in 3 core modules and 3 optional modules, as we already mentioned. The first one, don't be put off by the title, it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's actually the sort of spinal course, the spine of this program, because it's the methodologies and the training that enables you to delve into the disciplines that are being addressed and the fields that are being addressed in this course. And of course, there's the language course where you can choose from. We've put some examples here: Arabic, Russian, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Mandarin, Japanese, and many, many more at King's College. And of course, the dissertation, or the creative option, the option to do, instead of a dissertation, to write a creative piece, do a translation, do an exhibition, a zine, or a podcast, etc. And then you have optional modules. So it's 3 core and 3 optional modules. And you can choose between contact zones, language, location, and legacy. So this module is sort of looking at languages in a sort of transnational and post-colonial framework. Materiality and temporality is very, particularly interest in heritage and cultural memory, oral history, etc. Understanding environmental humanities looks especially at issues to do with social justice and how languages and cultures are involved in the sort of new planetary challenge of the environmental crises. And most importantly, you will be able to choose from existing modules that are on offer in other MA programs at participating Federation members. So, for example, UCL, University College London, offers a wide range of MA programs, and you can pick and choose from those modules the one that might be of particular interest to you. So this is a sort of outline spread and outline information about the MA. There's a page at the end of this presentation. I don't know if we can put it up, where it shows where we are and how to access or to contact us. There is a generic ILCS email address here, but if anyone wants to email me directly, I'm very happy to talk to them and to give further information about the MA. My email address is Katia, Katia .Pizzi, Pizzi, at sas.ac.uk. So please get in touch if you're interested. I don't know if we have time for a couple of slides from career services. They asked me to say a little bit. It's just really a couple of minutes if we have a bit of time.
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, one of the beauties of sitting here is that we have an absolutely fantastic career service, which serves the whole of the University of London programs. And in the second slide, you will see your benefits. That's great. So what does the career service provide for you? One-to-one appointment tailored to your need, webinars and workshops relevant to your studies and development, tailored resources on SAS careers, VLE, UK Job Board, industry and sector labour market insights, job seekers toolkits and advice, external resources, international job board, virtual internship. So careers have a mixture of live delivery and online resources, and you will benefit from one-to-one appointments throughout your study. And I didn't know this, but I think it's fabulous, up to 2 years after graduation. So if you graduate from University of London, for up to 2 years, you can call on the careers service for advice on your future career. You will have a chance to participate in workshops relevant to your studies and the field of humanities, and have access to a variety of resources such as career planning tool, UK International Job Board, etc., etc. And the resources and services are built for every single stage of your career, whether you are a career starter, developer, or changer, so you can come back later in life. If we can move on to the next slide, you have some examples of the past career workshops. I think we need to, yes, that's great. Some of these are examples of past career workshops: how to write a narrative CV, further study, is a PhD right for me, career options and planning, careers in academia, personal and professional development, supercharge your productivity, the imposter syndrome, etc. And it's very good that careers welcome students' feedback and suggestions on the topic, delivery and content of the workshop. So if there's anything that you need or you'd like to hear about, let careers know, and they will mount either a one-to-one or a workshop tailored and fitted to your needs. And the final slide, I think, gives you an example of online and digital resources. So please feel free to contact them, Rosie Baber and Career Services at University of London. So here ends my outline presentation. I hope I didn't talk too fast, but really I'm genuinely happy if anyone wants to get back and ask more questions, and I'll be able to give them details, and also perhaps put you in touch with the module conveners, because they can be more specific about the content of each individual module.
Thank you so much, Katia. That was so interesting and informative. I especially liked learning more about the creative component of this degree. It feels like a really unique offering, that sort of balance of dissertation and being able to flex creativity in a broad range of ways. And in addition to the fact that this is supported by so many great universities and institutes, it feels like you sort of have the backing of the humanities powerhouses behind you. So thank you for your time today and for sharing that overview. I think it's been very helpful, given this is a new program. We're very excited to see where this goes. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. I think we'll leave it there for today. But yes, please reach out directly to Katia if you have any questions. We also have a contact us form on our website if you have specific inquiries that you might want to go somewhere else. But yes, reach out. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you soon. Ciao, ciao.